Hi, I'm Sam Meredith. Today, with a flurry of data releases in the Central and Eastern European area, we're getting the insight from CEE economist from Oxford Economics, Evghenia Sleptsova. Firstly, Hungary's inflation rate increased again slightly to 0.6%, amid news that Moody's will be raising its outlook from stable to positive this week. How is this reflective of optimism for the economy?
Inflation is rising in Hungary at a strongest, experiencing the strongest rebound across the Central and Eastern Europe. So Polish and Slovakian CPIs are picking up, but are still in deflation. Czech CPI hasn't been in deflation at all. So it's like the steepest trajectory. And it's in terms of the mood for the overall economy, it's an interesting situation because the PMIs are very strong, so the industrial and manufacturing activity and the sentiment there is pretty strong, but the consumer sentiment is falling, and retail sales have also stabilized, and earnings are also not growing as fast as they were. So it's like there's a stabilization in that sense. So it seems to be the inflation is picking up mainly due to rising food prices, tobacco, somewhat idiosyncratic, and the tapering off of the fall in the oil prices. So the oil prices are not falling as much on a year-on-year basis as they were several months ago, plus the monetary easing. So that's, I think, where the pickup is coming from, and that's why we don't expect it to continue at the same trajectory.
Poland's interest rate has remained unchanged at 1.5% today for the fifth consecutive month, following a rate cut earlier in the year. With the parliamentary election in October this year, though, how is this likely to impact on the country economically?
Economically, the monetary policy and the central bank, first of all, is quite independent in Poland, so it shouldn't really affect the monetary policy decisions. There hasn't been any discussion of how the new government would see the monetary policy, so I wouldn't see their direct effect. In terms of the economy in general, there are some discussions of introducing new taxes on banks and supermarkets, so there can be some slightly populist fiscal measures, but I don't think it's directly related to monetary policy. Speaking of monetary policy per se, the rate wasn't changed as central bank, as the National Bank of Poland has indicated before, and due to domestic demand being really strong and deflation is easing, so there is no need to cut rates further. What can affect future monetary policy, and what was adding an element of uncertainty about today's meeting, is the increasing chances of Brexit.
Following on from the majority of the Greek population voting no in the referendum last Sunday, which has seemingly increased the likelihood of a potential Grexit, to what extent are the Central and Eastern European countries economically exposed?
Central and Eastern Europe, with direct exposures, is not really exposed to Greece, unlike Southeastern European countries. Like trade flows are less than 1% of GDP. There is pretty much no Greek bank ownership in Central and Eastern Europe. So fundamentally, no. However, the main channel is the confidence channel, and this is what we've seen already, that Hungarian forint was falling, pretty much has fell by as much as Romanian leu, for example, in response to the latest breakdown of talks and introduction of capital controls, which shows that it's really countries with bigger external imbalances that will be more exposed through the confidence channel, or countries with both external imbalances and also liquid markets. The reaction of the market so far has been very muted. So the pressure on the regional yields and currencies has been pretty small. It might reflect that markets are underpricing the risk of Brexit, but I think it also prices in the fact the readiness of the ECB to step in.
Thank you, Evghenia. Be sure to check back with Juga Skopje for more updates throughout the week. Goodbye for now.